Hi and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Fran and I live in a townhouse with my partner Kirk. We have 5 children between us, one with complex needs and disabilities, and we are DIYing our sensory garden on a very tight budget. So we haven't done a massive amount in the past 4 months since I last uploaded. It's mainly just been sort of cutting back and sort of laying the foundations for the vegetable beds out. 3 main reasons for that is one is the weather. It's been really wet in the UK. We've had a lot of rain, a lot of ice, and snow, and a little bit of snow and stuff like that. Having said that, they do say that a bad winter is a good summer, so we'll wait and see. 2 was budget. We just don't have the budget for really big projects right now, so we are basically trying to do everything we can either free or as cheap as it is, basically. So sort of recycling, reusing things, getting things off Facebook and stuff like that. And 3 is time. We realistically only sort of have Sunday afternoon to do any sort of big projects. I can't do any digging or lifting at all. I don't have any strength in my back. I have 3 slip discs, stenosis in my spine, and degenerative disc disease, so I cannot lift anything at all. So I really rely on Kirk to be doing any sort of digging and stuff like that. So really he only has a Sunday afternoon free. So I've sort of been just pottering around, planting bulbs, a little bit of tidying and stuff like that, planting seeds and things, sort of when I've got time as well. So we have done a lot of cutting back, especially in what is going to be the kids area, and then we've laid the foundations for the raised bed. I'm going to give you a little tour now and just show you what we've been up to. So where I'm standing now is the very start of the kids play area. We have moved the trampoline down slightly from over just in front of me there. And we've started cutting the hedge back. We've got sort of halfway. A lot of it is sort of holly, and a few like small dead trees that we needed to cut out. Now this play area particularly isn't going to be accessible to Ben. It's not that he wouldn't play down it. It's just that it's going to be like a football thing and climbing frames things. He's not going to want to go on anyway. However, the trampoline is going to be at the very start. So he will be able to go onto that. I'll be able to hoist him onto the trampoline, and it's all netted, so he'll be nice and safe on there. So I can sort of potter in the garden, and he can play on the trampoline, which is going to be really nice. So you may notice a big difference here, and that is that we turned the shed round, which was really interesting because it was on a bit of it kind of had like a sinky bit in the middle. That was quite interesting turning that around. Basically, I just stood there with the camera and gave instructions, and Kurt pushed it. So that was fun. So I do have to repaint this side of the shed to the purple that's on the front of the shed. I have put Insect City back up together, and on this area here I'm going to be growing my sweet peas, so they'll be all growing up there, look really nice. I am going to move these 2 bird boxes. Now that I know a lot more about birds, I've realised that they're not going to nest in these really because they're too out in the open. Also, the fact we have a cat as well, so she's a bit of a bugger. We are going to move those really high up somewhere into some sort of bushes or whatever. So down here in this section here, I have planted some bulbs, and there is a lovely hydrangea in there. The only thing I've had to do is I've had to sort of barricade off with chairs because our youngest, who is 4, has decided that this is the secret way to the trampoline, is to get off the path, walk round the raised bed, and then climb over my plants. So I've had to sort of barricade it off so she won't go in there. So right now I am sort of sat to the side of the pond. I have the 2 raised beds here, which I'll be growing some beans and some little munchkin pumpkins over the archway, so that I can sit inside the shed with my book in the summer and kind of admire the pond and the flowers and all the pumpkins going over. We do have the big telescope out. Now this belongs to Kirk's children, and I think he paid about 30 quid for it. It's really, really fun. Hello, Crystal. So yes, you can see the moon and stuff really close up. So we love stargazing at night, and this garden is beautiful. Even though we live in a townhouse on a not a busy street, but sort of there's a lot of houses here. So yeah, come about 11 p.m. it's really quiet, and we sort of sit out here and watch the bats fly over, and we can stargaze. So we did see Orion's belt the other day and the nebula where the stars are born. Yeah, and it's just really nice. So we do have a couple of frogs in the pond. So I did have a bit of an issue with some of the plants tipping over. Now, I'm not a pond expert, so feel free to give me your advice on this and whether I've just gone completely mad. So I got a couple of washing up bowls for like £1.50, and I put 2 bricks in them and then wedged the pond plant pots between them, and sort of sunk them in. Now we do have some sort of surface cover plants, so hopefully you won't see them too much in the summer. I also thinned out the watercress that I threw in there, which I actually bought from Morrison's salad bar, and it took off in the water. Now, one piece of advice that I'd give you is don't put watercress on your ground. Don't just leave it on the ground, because it will take root and it'll grow everywhere. It's a bit like mint. So yeah, we've done a big tidy up of the pond. We do still have a couple of frogs in there. I'm a little bit concerned because it's quite warm at the moment, 16 degrees today, and I'm thinking maybe they're gonna trigger spawning season, and I think it might be a little bit too early for them. So I'm just hoping next week is supposed to go back down to 8, so hopefully that'll put them off for a little bit. We are planning on putting some stones around the edge of the pond, because the logs that we have at the moment they're just old. So yeah, we're just going to get rid of a few of those. Keep quite a few of them for the dragonflies. So they like, I can hear the sparrows. We've got one sparrow called Kevin, and he's really annoying. Yes, so the dragonflies do like to lay their eggs in them, so we will be keeping quite a few of them, but the majority of them will be replaced by some stones that sort of overlook, sort of hang off the edge, and they will kind of hide the black membrane underneath. I do want to have some more pond plants. I don't know a lot about pond plants, so feel free to give me your recommendations below. Basically, we want to encourage as much wildlife as possible in here, so any advice and tips on that would be great. So as you can see here, we have laid out most of our raised beds. We do have 2 more to go in. These I already had from my old allotment, and I just saved them basically. But you can find them really cheap, especially on Facebook Marketplace, about £8 to £10 each. They're just old pallet collars, so we've been putting those in. I do have this over here, which is a compost bin, and that was 40 quid off eBay. It doesn't have a lid, but we are going to try and fashion something with a lid for it. Oh gosh, it's suddenly got very windy. Yeah, so now you might be thinking that the sort of pathways between each raised bed is quite small. Now, it's not going to be wheelchair accessible. This veg bed is mainly more for me, really. Ben is not really that keen on growing. He just likes to be in the garden, and the other children, because obviously walk in between. Yeah, so it's pretty fine for what we need. We are going to lay some wood chip down just to kind of keep the bindweed down, because it's an absolute nightmare. We are using the hugelkultur, I think that's pronounced right, method. So that's basically where you lay cardboard and then sort of sticks and things, and then put your compost on top. So the only thing I did think was these gaps are quite small. So I was thinking, oh my god, if I've got my tomatoes in here and I'm walking along down here, my bum's gonna like absorb all these tomato plants. I'm gonna be like brushing with my bloody arse, like going past them. But anyway, it is what it is. So this is sort of the start of our veg bed. We can always move them around next year. So this is on a very slight slope, but to be honest, it works. It's fine for us. And I don't know if you can see, but the neighbour next door cut their hedges, and we're so grateful they did it, because I mean we couldn't afford to do it, but it is on their side, it is a hedge, but whoever they had out was so good. They even cut sort of our side, which people haven't done in the past, and oh my god, it's made such a difference. It's really opened up the garden. It looks so much tidier, and it just looks so lovely now. but we just didn't have the tools all the time. We don't have ladders. We're both only like 5'4" and 5'6", so we can't reach. But yeah, it's made a big difference because the sun sort of comes that way round, so we'll be able to get lots of sun on the veg bed. So this area of the garden is the sort of sensory flower bed. I haven't really done too much in this apart from mulch it and divide a couple of the GMs and stuff like that. I do have a few gaps that I need to fill. I always leave my plants, I don't cut them back till sort of now time really. So it's only really been now that I've been able to see sort of the gaps that I've got to plant in. Got a lot of bulbs in here, a lot of alliums, gladioli. I'll be putting some dahlias in here. I'm also creating a new dahlia bed just behind me here. I'm going to move these compost bins and ask it to help me dig out this bush thing that's in there. I don't really grow a lot of annuals. I tend to stick to perennials and South Cedars, but I do have a couple of annuals that will be going in here, sort of just to create that sort of cottage kind of garden feel, which would be really nice. So yeah, there's nothing really more to report on here. We did move the bird feeder because I realised that I was buying bird seed that was sprouting grass, so I've now switched my bird feed, and we've moved the bird feeder to an area of the garden where it doesn't matter if there's any grass that grows. So yeah, other than that, nothing to report on this area. So you can see that we have started on the path. We've measured it so it's now the right width for Ben's wheelchair, and we've sort of edged it as well to make it nice and straight. It is a curved path, so it's going to be a little bit fiddly, but we're going to hopefully start that at the end of March when it starts to dry up a little bit, because we don't want to be doing concreting in wet weather. We've just thrown an old sort of membrane down just to kind of keep the mud down really more than anything else when the kids are on the trampoline, and to stop any sort of grass self-seeding on that. So yes, the idea is to do a very basic concrete path, but we're going to do some mosaic tiles in between. We've got loads of old tiles that we can sort of smash up and make some like pretty patterns in it. So yeah, we have estimated we can probably do the entire path. It's actually quite long, for probably about £100, which is sort of within our budget. We will be doing it on our own, so we'll be doing a little section at a time, sort of as and when we can, and when the weather plays ball really. And the last area of our garden is what I call the rose garden. So we've got quite a lot of roses in here. We have some digitalis foxgloves that have come up, and we have loads of bulbs. One of my hellebores did die, so I need to dig that out and replant it. We have loads of self-seeded honesty over there, and the roses are still doing really, really well. We have a forsythia there, but I think it might have died because I think it should have been in flower by now. And then I have is it camellia plant, which I dug up from underneath the ivy bush and replanted, and that seems to be doing really well. So I am going to be painting these couple of fence panels like a nice cream colour, just to sort of make the colours of the flowers pop really. But that's not a sort of an urgent project, so I'll be doing it as and when I can. But yeah, this sort of area looks really good. I am going to be refreshing the gravel. That's the only downside to having gravel, is that it gets everywhere, literally everywhere, and it is on a slight slope as well. But that's probably going to cost me about £15 to redo that small area. So yeah, that's how the garden is looking right now. So if you enjoyed the video and want to follow along with our sensory garden journey, do subscribe to my channel. It would mean the absolute world to me. I am over on Instagram as well, The Wild Gardener. I tend to post silly, relatable things on there to do with gardening, and the odd update on our sensory garden, but this is mainly going to be my channel for updating the sensory garden. So yes, I hope to see you again soon, and thank you for watching.